Hello then. I'm back to talk more about random shit and keep going. So, over the last few weeks, I've been buying a lot of canned goods and a variety of other small little frozen foods and whatnot. And I have made a grave discovery. I need to read the labels more often. I bought this nice little canned pasta for my girlfriend to try, only to realize before I even gave it to her that it was not vegetarian. Midway through the list of ingredients, beef broth on one, and the other one, beef broth was the first ingredient. Yeah, that's not very good. I almost gave her pasta, soup stuff that was made with meat. She would have had a fit. That's not good. So, the lesson is read the ingredients. Even if it seems like it should be vegetarian, it probably isn't. But a good thing to keep in mind is just buy vegetables. Go ahead while you can, buy vegetables, because even if the coronavirus doesn't kill everyone on the planet, which probably won't, maybe, I don't know. I've kind of given up on the entire idea of it by now. The fact that everyone's panicking the way they are, it means that there's not going to be a lot of food available in stores soon. What does that mean exactly? Well, people around the country are going to panic buying mode. It happens whenever there's a big storm down here in the south, or anywhere near the East Coast or the Gulf of Mexico. Whenever the hurricane comes near us, people freak out and they panic buy. You know, all water bottles and stuff go miss and go get pulled off the shelves. Uh, Bread and milk and eggs get bought up for some fucking retarded reason. I understand, yeah, I'll buy the perishable goods and eat them now. Well, you can. Save your canned goods and your other dry goods for later. But there are people who buy 5, 6, 7 gallons of milk and believe that that's a good thing to prepare for a storm. Bitch, the power goes out, that milk's gonna go bad because you're damn well ain't drinking that much milk. It's not good to drink that much fucking milk. You're gonna throw up all that milk. All kinds of fun stuff. Uh, Magic the Gathering is actually a good thing to keep in mind. So, in an event of any kind of emergency, whether it be viral, like the coronavirus or the Wu flu, um, national disaster such as hurricane, hurricane, earthquake, tsunami, uh, thunderstorms, twisters, or anything else that can blizzards that can isolate you from the outside world for a long period of time. It's best to keep a few things around the house to keep you and whoever's in the house with you entertained, or shelter and whatnot. Some of the best things to do that with are books, because everyone has a few books laying around the house that they mean to read but they never do. You know, you saw a nice book at the store, someone gave you a book, and you thought, oh, that'd be great to read one day, but you never do because you feel like you don't need to read it because you want to do other stuff, and you keep seeing that book and say, I'm going to read that one day, but you don't actually read the book. It just sits there in the corner of your room, staring at you while you sleep, judging you for not reading it, and then you keep looking at it, wake in the middle of the night because you hear something shift, and there's that book on the floor a few feet away from where it's supposed to be at. So there's that book. You keep looking at that book. I'm going to read that book, but you don't. But you just pick it back up and put it on the shelf, and it repeats the process every few weeks until you finally do start reading the book, but only realize that you don't want to read the book. So you open the first page, read the I don't know the table of contents, and then you just kind of put the book back up. Yeah, that book's gonna be your new best friend in any situation in which you're trapped in your house for any length of time. So get used to that book. It's your friend now. But good things to have are uh, game manuals. Surprisingly enough, big old game guides. One like Skyrim's Collector's Edition game guide. It's a nice book to have, just to read stuff. Um, let's see what I have. I have several comics. I have a few White Dwarfs magazines. I have Warcraft Chronicles 1 through 3. I have lots of fantasy books just laying around my room. I got a complete series of the complete book series called The Dwarves, which is great. Have I have the latest book of the Dwarf series. I just haven't read it yet, so that's on my to-do list eventually. I have the two companion books that take place in the outer area of the dwarfs' little homeland, which if you read the dwarfs, you know, kind of know about the and kept up with the book series, you kind of know the two extra books I'm talking about. I got Warhammer models to build and paint. I got models for my girlfriend to build and paint if she ever wants to do that again, which that's up to her. I understand it's not really her thing. I don't want to push her to do something she doesn't want to do. But she does like the models, so I might just go ahead and build them all for her. That way she can sit there and paint them. She likes doing things like that occasionally. But I got Dungeons and Dragons stuff, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering cards, actual playing cards, Digimon, which that's dead. That I don't know the rules of Digimon anymore. I got a few board games. Ooh. Got a few dice games, a few card games. I got a Pirates of the Caribbean. No, sorry, Pirates of the Spanish Main. There we go, Pirates of the Spanish Main. That is an interesting game itself. It was made by WizKids, and it essentially is a bunch of plastic cards. You pop the pieces out, and you build these little plastic ships with. And each of those cards had a value for that ship, like how many points it was worth, the distance it could travel. Because you use the card itself, the little cards the ship pieces pop out of to actually measure your distance. The long ways is a red symbol, and the white and the short ways, the short distance is the white symbol. So you use the rectangle card to measure out the distance of your ship. Also determines the distance of your cannons, because each mass has a dice number on it in a color. There, you have to meet, or you have to either get that number or higher in order to use the cannon on that ship, on that mass. And the whole point of the whole point of the deathmatch game was to just kill was just to shoot the other ships and take out all the mass and then scuttle those ships. Um, which was interesting. The game even had rules that if you were able to save your ship from being scuttled, you could tow it. You could bring one of your ships to one of your uh, basically uh, derelict ships that had no masts left, so it couldn't move anywhere, and tow it back to home port. Back to your home port. This is all tabletop, by the way. You can tow it back to your home port to get it fixed, and then bring that ship back out. That was mainly a mechanic used for the treasure hunting portion of the game. Another game type was treasure hunting, which you had all these islands on the playfield. Oh shit! Sorry. The you had these you start before the game. You did this before the game started, in which you got some islands. You put them on. Each player put an island on the table somewhere, or the play area, and then you would take all these golden doubloons, which were the plastic little currency coins that came in each pack. You take those and you put them. You just grab a random amount and you put some on each of the islands. And the goal was to get them. Was to see at the end of the thing, once all the treasure got picked up, who got the most points, because the points numbered on the coins themselves numbered between 1 to like 7 or 8, I think. But it didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It didn't go in order. Sometimes on the cards you popped out the coins on, there was like 4 ones, 2 twos, a 3, an 8, and stuff like that. All kinds of little things. I like building little ships, because I guess that's what kind of got me into making models, was those little ships. They were interesting. Star Wars had games like that too, pocket models made by WizKids. WizKids made a lot of pocket model games. But the Star Wars one was interesting to me. I like the models for that one. I really like the models for that one. I only have one surviving Star Wars model, and that is a clone trooper medical transport ship. It's one of my favorite ones. I had a few other ones, but they got lost or broken throughout the years. So I'm down to just the one. Keep it above my desk. Just kind of looks cool up there. Man, there's a variety of things you can do to keep yourself entertained in any situation, like power loss or anything else like that. Um, I, rec- I recommend if you can get a get some kind of Dungeons and Dragons campaign, or get a rough idea of how to play Dungeons and Dragons from one of the either from the fifth edition, or if you can find it at 3.5 edition. One of those two. 3.5 is an edition people like to play a lot. I have never played Dungeons and Dragons. I tried running a Dungeons and Dragons campaign one time. It ended terribly. It was 4th edition, and it was the fact that we couldn't really figure out how to do initiative and movement very well, and so we scrapped and went to Munchkin. Munchkin's also a great game to get because it's just fun. But 3.5 has so many little things, all kinds of different games that go into it that you could probably find hundreds of different games that use the 3.5 system that don't actually make you play Dungeons and Dragons. There's the World of Warcraft RPG book series. They don't use Dungeons and Dragons. The they use 3.5 system. How the game, how the stats and things distribute in 3.5 and stuff like that. Also, if you are trying to track down the World of Warcraft book series for Dungeons and Dragons, good fucking luck. Most people are hoarding onto those damn things for so goddamn long that some of the books are cost well over $300 to get one of like I think it's the Horde one. Yeah, the Horde one. It's like $300 just to get one, and that contains the players. That's the player's guide for the Horde and everything else. So it's a pain in the goddamn ass to get a hold of that. I only managed to get 3 for a reasonable price. I got the main book itself, then I got Monster Guide, and then Lands of Mystery. Yeah, Lands of Mystery. The Monster Guide was like $60, 60, $70. And yeah, that's all I can afford. Some of the books, and you think you can just get the World of Warcraft ones? Incorrect. You need to get the World of Warcraft ones and the Warcraft ones. Warcraft books, the Warcraft RPG stuff came out like a year or two before the World of Warcraft ones did, and the Warcraft ones contain information that the World of Warcraft ones reference. So you're buying several $100s worth of books, which if you play D&D hardcore, you're probably used to that, but you're probably not used to buying one book for like $300. Best advice is to find the PDF files people post all over the place, get them, download them, and print out your own books if you want a hard copy. Which, if you are wanting to keep them around so you don't have to sit there and carry your laptop with you or your phone to pull up the photos and just have a hard copy, it might be best to invest in a cheap printer from Walmart. They have printers for like $30. Buy a few ink cartridges for it, and just sit there and print off everything you need to print off. That's my advice, but no one likes my advice. Another thing to keep in mind, if you get into a situation where you need to just hunker down for a few days, is coming up with a proper uh, food routine, proper meal plan. Most people, when they buy food and they have to actually start using that ration food, they kind of go stupid with it and they think, oh, we can just eat. We only be here for a few days. We can just eat what we want. Incorrect. If you're in a situation where you're stuck in one place and you have a limited supply of food, best thing to do is figure out how many calories you have between all the food, how many people you have to feed, and then proceed to ration out appropriately. That means figure out how many days of food you actually have. You can try using the 2,000 calorie system, but typically if you're in a situation where you don't know when the food is going to be, it's recommended to drop down to 1,400 to, well, in between 1,600 to 1,200. Reason being is because if you're not having to actively do a lot of labor and everything else, you if you eat filling meals, well, rice and whatnot, you won't be as hungry and you won't burn through as many calories unless you're actively doing work. If work is required, the one who's going to be doing most of the work should be given the higher calorie, the at least a few hundred more calories. Doesn't have to be much, but keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that water doesn't run forever. If power goes out, water plants will start losing power, and then you won't get water through your system anymore. So if the power starts going out in your area, immediately uh, fill your bathtub and sinks up with water. So it's best if something you feel like that's going to happen beforehand, keep your bathtub bleached and clean of and basically clean of all chemicals and anything else in it. Make sure it's healthy. Or get one of those weird tub bladder things from the Amazon. You can find them on Amazon. Essentially, they are just a giant ass balloon that gets filled up in your bathtub from your bathtub's water spout faucet, and because you're able to seal it up and use a water pump system that attaches to the top of the bag to allow you to pump water out of it while having opened the bag up. It says it can keep water fresh for up to 6 weeks, 12 weeks maybe. Oh boy. Yeah. Sorry. Mm. But when cooking, yeah. So that's one thing you do. Cooking. If you're buying a lot of cheap material that requires a lot of cheap food materials or bland food materials like uh, rice noodles, uh, ingredients to make bread, basic canned foods and whatnot. A good thing to invest in is hot sauce. Hot sauce and some seasoning. Spicy seasoning like chili powder or jalapeno powder or stuff like that. Or just dried jalapenos and dried peppers. The reason being is because not only does the spiciness help cut down on you eating, because eating spicy foods, especially extremely spicy foods, makes you feel less hungry. So that can help cut down on how much food you eat a day, and also add more flavor to what you're eating. So while you're shopping, pick up a bottle of Texas Pete. It's a generic hot sauce that has enough spice to give you a kick in the mouth, but not enough spice to ruin food. And possibly some Tabasco. Yeah, Tabasco or that one weird. It's a Mexican hot sauce that has a wooden cap to it. You probably seen it in the store. I can't remember the name of it right now, but grab some of that. All kinds of all kinds of good things to grab for that. Don't forget the fruit, by the way. That's one thing you cannot forget is fruit and pickles, essentially. Pickles and fruit. Those are two things that are important to get if you're storing food for any situation. Uh, Pickles because they you can use the juice to pickle other things. So if you have carrots, then you just kind of toss the carrots into the pickle juice when you get done eating the pickles. Not too much pickles are good, but the jar itself can be used for other things if need be. The and fruit is because scurvy is a thing. Sure, well, it's not a very well-known thing anymore, but it can become a thing if you go too long without eating anything that contains vitamin C or other vitamins that are found in fruit. Oh yeah, okay. Mm. Also, grog. If you are worried about if you have a lot of water supply, but you're worried about it going bad, like if you're deciding to just bottle a lot of water into giant containers or barrels and whatnot, a good thing to consider doing is buying rum and adding it to your water supply. Not enough to get you drunk. No, no, no. It's about for every 1 part rum, it's 3 to 4 parts water. Yes, you're essentially watering down the rum, but the alcohol will help fight back algae from growing in the water. It won't last forever, but it'll fight back enough. Then you can add stuff like lime juice to the rum, the grog, and to give it more flavor. So if you want to try something if you want to try something to see how it works, uh, you can find grog recipes everywhere. But a good one to try is get about I don't know, a milk jug, or an empty milk jug or empty juice jug. Fill it with. Go ahead and dump your entire bottle of rum into it. Add about an entire lime Dorfer juice to it, and then fill the rest of it with water. That'll be a bit stronger than the grog you'll be making in bigger batches, but enough to get you the idea what it's kind of gonna taste like. Or do half a bottle or a quarter of a bottle of rum into the jug, and then fill the rest up with water with the lime juice. Might be good. Okay. Um, Recommendations for rums would be Captain Morgan's, because Captain Morgan's cheap. white Captain Morgan's white rum. That way you can see if there's any discoloration in the water. That's one thing about spiced rum and dark rum. You can't really tell if there's a discoloration in the water, because they're colored the way they are. Um, Basically any white rum would be good. Parrots Bay would be good. Malibu. It's the one drink people always use for pina coladas. Can't remember what it's called. That bottle. That brand. Oh, all kinds of neat little things. Vodka is also a good choice. You can do that with basically any clear liquor you can find would be great to make kind of a grog substance to. The thing to keep in mind is purification tablets. Uh, you can kind of purify your water yourself, a few drops of bleach, but you keep in mind a few small drops of bleach. You add too much bleach to the water, you're gonna get sick, and then that'd be worse. That's the thing. Oh boy. Um, there is a I think I've talked enough about fucking preparedness right now. There's there's all kinds of people who are better at explaining prepping and survival skills than I am. I'm just basically regurgitating some basic things I've picked up over the years. I'm watching and listening to other things on YouTube and Discovery Channel, History Channel over a long time of being just watching stuff. Let's talk about Magic the Gathering. So last week I picked up 2 cards. One was Feather the Redeemed, and the other one was Fire Song and Sword, Fire Song and Sunspeaker. Both of them are Boros in color, which means red and white. For those who don't actually understand what Boros is. Um, Ooh boy. If I'm remembering the mana right, Feather Redeemed is 3 mana, one colorless, 1 color, 1 mana, 1 red, 1 white, 1 white, 1 red. It's a flying creature, and it has the effect that when you cast an instant sorcery, it goes you you get to put the card back in your hand essentially. So every time you cast an instant sorcery, the effect kicks off, and then the card goes back to your hand. Which, oh boy, that can be fun, especially if you're playing Commander, which is kind of why I bought it. And then Fire Song and Sunspeaker. That combination duo. If you watch the Command Zone, you probably saw it do work. That's one reason I bought it, was the fact that white instant sorceries that heal you, deal 3 damage to target player or creature, and red instant sorceries heal you for the damage they deal. That's the important part. You see, red has a lot of pay X spells to it, such as Is it no? Is it Fire Blast or Nova Blast? I can't remember. It's X and then 2 red, and it deals damage to. Oh yeah, it deals damage to. It deals X to target creature or player. That's a great card to use. But then there's another one that deals 2 damage to our to everything, but the X is what how many targets you give it. So you're guaranteed to deal 2 damage to something, but to at least one thing you pay 1 mana, but you can keep adding more mana to it to deal 2 damage to multiple things. So that's actually a great way to gain a lot of life back from a being when you just got rushed by a lot of tokens. That's a sorcery spell. Now the Boros deck is for my girlfriend, mainly because I feel like she would enjoy the idea of Boros to a degree. Doing a little bit of damage here, having a bunch of little dudes to protect her. Also, the artwork of Fire Song and Fire Song and Sunspeaker are 2 minotaurs, which she likes the bovine. She likes the bovine. Now the question is, do I make the deck for if I make the deck the using the using Fire Song and Sunspeaker, do I just make one where it has a bunch of little dudes that sit there and no. Do I just make the deck to where it recurs a lot of spells so she can cast it and deal damage and heal herself or gain more life, or do I'm not sure. I can think of something. I got plenty of cheap cost red and white spells and other spells laying around my room or in the box of Magic the Gathering stuff that I'm sure I can come up with something to help her work out with what she wants to do. I don't know. I did finish the EDH deck I was working on. It is a curse deck. The point of it is to just target a player out of the 4 or work with all, or just target one player at a time or multiple players at once and slow them down. Slow them down, curse them, ping them for damage constantly. Like Underworld Dreams, variety of the spells that make my opponent draw an extra card, or make everyone draw an extra card. And if you draw an extra card, you take a point of damage. All your creatures attack each turn. Make one person a target where anyone who sends a creature to attack that target player, that their creatures get +1/+1 counters added to them. Stuff like that. Intensify. As soon as bribe other people to attack other people. Is that going to work? I don't know. I'm going to have to try that out later this week or next week. I'm not sure yet. I have to see what I'm doing and figure out what day of the week I can go. I got to work around things. Mainly work. But yeah. That's just a little update. Me being tired. Probably should be sleeping right now, but I need to run myself down for a little bit, which no better way than talking to myself for a few minutes. Nothing much. But yeah. Oh, and there's another thing, y'all, that be great to grab. If things happen that are interesting to you, or I should talk about, I guess, post them in the comments. I, I guess I'm not sure anymore. So yeah, if there's a topic you want me to talk about, post in the comments, and I'm sure the troll's gonna find this and post in the comments saying, talk about how much of a fag you are, or something like that. I don't know. I'll make a. If that's the case, I'll take that to heart and I will talk about gay shit for an hour. Yeah, sound good. Good. Yes, I'm trying to stretch out to 30 minutes. Nothing's monetized in my channel, so it makes no difference anyway how long I make the video. So, You guys have fun. And remember, Yogi Bear's watching. Fuck it, I won't talk about the Yogi Bear now. So, on my way to go do something for work, I happened to drive by a little flea market. It's a small little thing, like maybe like little rental uh, sheds and everything else in a parking lot. And they had a guy at the corner of the road, at the corner of the cross of the intersection, and he was in a Yogi Bear costume with a sign advertising pepper spray, knives, tasers, self-defense stuff, and it was the best thing to see ever. Just Yogi Bear offering you weapons. Hey, boo boo. Hey, boo boo. We're gonna get some picnic baskets. But Yogi, what about the ranger? Boo boo. I didn't ask you. Do you want to get a picnic basket? I'm telling you, we'll get a picnic basket. But Yogi, the ranger's got a gun. Boo boo. Do you not see my knife there? We'll give him the old stabberoonie. Yogi, you're insane. Bobo, I did not ask you to give me compliments. Go to your box. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's just a thing that happens. Yeah. So you guys have fun. Eat plenty of rice. Rice is good for you to a degree. Don't eat too much of it, you get sick. Alright, bye.